Welcome to Stabby Time.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
It's all true. The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
He's sick. He's seen one too many.
I said, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Stabby Time's Quick Picks. So I wanted to get on before we did our stream. We have two shows going on today. We actually have the live recording that is happening right meow. And we also have a recording for the Milwaukee Horror Con. So make sure to stop in for that one also. But I wanted to come in and discuss two movies I went to go see, which is Weapons and Together. But the first one I wanted to do a quick pick is Together. And I'm going to be completely honest. When I heard of Together, I was excited. I was thrilled. I was like, this is going to be an awesome movie. I love body horror. And plus, I do like David Franco, and I do like Liz0mbie, of course. In the commercials, it looked really interesting. It looked really fun. And then I watched it. I'm pretty sure people might hate me for this one or love me. I'm not sure. I feel like even with IMDb, the reviews were very medium, and it was very in the middle, basically, what everyone was rating it. Basically, Together is about this couple that moves from the big city to the country. And in the beginning of the movie, they basically, of course, the couple's like not connecting. They should really be broken up, but they decided, hey, let's move in the middle of nowhere. This is really gonna make our relationship better. And let me tell you, it does not. It does not make their relationship better at all. And so they move to the country. She's a teacher. He's a musician. But like none of that even matters because they it was very quick, basically. Because like at the beginning of the movie, they show these people looking for a couple, and then they see a dog drinking water. Later on, by the way, this is spoilers. I'm going to give you guys a head up. There are spoilers. If you have not seen the movie, do not watch or listen to this. If you have or you don't give a shit, continue. But as I was saying, so the dogs drink the water and the dogs end up merging into this like dog goo together. And then it just goes straight into their story, which is fine because we all get the gist of what this movie is supposed to be, which is these people are like literally physically going to merge together at some point. That was like the title of the movie. So they then get to the country, everything is happening, and they go for a hike. And they see these mystery bells. Because why the hell not? Let's do this. They go, the one dude falls. His name is Tim. We got Tim and Millie. Basically, that's the couple. And Jamie is like, I'm not quite sure who he is. They don't really explain if he's the principal or a fellow teacher. But there was like a part of the movie where they would have gotten in trouble and like a kid grabbed him, but he could have still grabbed him and he could have still been a teacher. They don't really explain a lot. You do see the little girl that had the merging dogs. She comes into the classroom of Millie and she's drawing her like merged dog. And she goes, well, that was my dog, but not anymore. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that, I guess that was like a check mark. Like, okay, we connected those two. That's it. Throw it away. And then they continued the story where they already drank the water. They had like a sleep in when they went to the cave. They drank from the same water. They come back home. And like, as soon as they woke up from the cave, by the way, they've already stuck together. And then there's like a weird story about his parents. And basically, as they're going through this, he's the only one really experiencing the like, or I guess paying attention to the fact that they're merging. She thinks he's going crazy because of the backstory of his parents, which is fine. Whatever. You needed to make a reasoning. He would be great if you worked for a Sony, because they love doing that. Like, they love doing this stuff, like rushing. So you're like, okay, bottom line, these fucking people are merging. Weird shit's happening. There's a part where she drives away from the house and he's in the shower and his body is physically trying to get closer to her. And I mean, obviously, it's like it's torture, because not only do you not like this person and you don't like this relationship that you're in, you're physically trying to get close to them. So that's what they spent most of the time on in this movie, is explaining why they're getting together. Well, no, just like physically though. Like, the only backstory you get to why this is happening is that the teacher, Jamie, or principal, whoever he is, he's making friends with Millie, and she, of course, is running to him because, there's a lot of shit going on. And she's like, we're getting into a fight, blah, blah, blah. She goes to his house and, consults him. And you find out that he had a partner at some point, but the partner is gone. And you're like, okay, that's fine. But it's like, there were two different people in that photo, but they were like younger versions. So it was weird. So you're assuming it's like the younger version of him. Like, you're not assuming it's like two different people. And as this movie's progression, she's like, you're fucking crazy. We're sleeping in separate bedrooms. And they do so. But then all of a sudden, they both physically have to connect, like a thing of like magnets. And when they do, she's like, fuck, you were right the whole time. I'm so sorry. She chops their arm apart, which has this like gooey skin shit that's like sticking them together. And like, the whole movie was kind of slow for me. And then I'm like, God, when's this body horror coming? Like, when is it? I think a lot of movies spoiled me this year. A lot of body horror, because this was like, okay, whatever. Like, their fucking lips are sticking. Oh, that's crazy. But like, when they get to a point where it's like they're starting to merge and they're trying not to merge, she goes to run to Jamie's house, the other teacher, and the TV is on. Like, I guess he found out they were merging, so he's going to celebrate, because he tells her a story about how where they fell was a church, and he doesn't know much about it. He just knows it crashes, which is also like, that church has obviously been destroyed for a while. How old is he? Like, but that was never answered at all. So then it like moved forward to her watching this video, and you find out that he is actually the merger of the two people in the photo. So they're merged together, and he explains to her, if you fight it, you'll die, basically. But if you don't, it's going to be the best thing. You share memories, blah, blah, blah. And she freaks out and she goes back home, and he ends up like stabbing her. So she's dying, and she goes back to her man, Tim. And she's like, just basically like, let me die and you live, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be all over. Well, Tim thinks otherwise. So Tim ends up like, they don't explain what Tim does, because she goes from like pale and bleeding out to, oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. He basically merges into her arm to stop the bleeding. And then all of a sudden she's better. And oh yeah, what out of all the very quick random ass backstories they have, part of those was Millie basically explaining to one of her friends that when they first dated, Tim is like a musician and he still supported her in liking Spice Girls. And then here comes the ending now. So they're both merging, and he explains to her that he loves her now and he wants to be part of her life the whole time. And she's like, okay, I love you too. And he like gets in his record collection, grabs the Spice Girls record. And this is probably like my most favorite part of the movie. To be fair, it wasn't all negative. A lot of the lines and a lot of the shit was fucking hilarious. There was a part where they have sex in the bathroom at the school and his dick is stuck inside of her and you see it like stretching. Fucking funny. There's a lot of funny parts of this movie, and this is one of them. Whereas the ending, they're basically like taking off their clothes, getting ready to merge, and he plays When to Become One, which is hilarious. Loved it. That is the only part of the movie I loved, because she ends up like, when she went to the teacher's house, she like hits him and he kind of like splits apart for some reason for that instance. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you actually merged and it's done, why would a hit of a pan all of a sudden like crack your head into? Like, that I don't get it. I don't get it. So does that mean you have to live your life, and like if you ever got into a car accident or you ever had like any kind of incident, you could possibly split back into like two halves again? So that didn't make any sense. So they fast forward now. So they start merging and they're playing the Spice Girls to become one. And you know throughout the movie that her parents are supposed to be coming the next day. So now they fast forward to that. All right. And you're assuming, oh God, like they merged. Okay, so they merged. And the parents are coming. So I don't know. I was thinking like they're gonna come into this blob. You know what I mean? Like this is gonna be fucked. But no, the house is clean. It looks like they got their shit together. And then the parents answer the door to this. Funny, the picture didn't show up. Ah, screw me. Like, wait, hold on. Nope. I don't know what I did with the picture, but they're okay. So basically they made a like AI generated version of Liz0mbie and Dave Franco and merged it into one. And then when they answered the door, it was like a weird merging of their voices. And it was like, eh. And then that's the end of the movie. I feel like if they would have, like, who gives a fuck about the couple at this point? Let's be honest. Like, we want to know why they're merging together. So, like, I don't understand why they didn't go further into the story of the church. Like, I would have liked that better. If they would have, like, I don't know, worked together and was like, wait, what the fuck's happening? And, like, did some kind of investigation about the church. It just felt very quick, very not developed, and then left you like, what the fuck was that? Like, not in a good way when it comes to like a body horror movie. And it wasn't like a lot of body horror though. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm a person that likes very gory body horror. So maybe that's me. I don't know. But I'll be honest, if this was my mini pick, this is my mini pick. I'm gonna give a like 2 Stabbies. I mean, good for the jokes, but that's about it. And to be fair, when I was gonna watch Weapons and Together, I thought that I was gonna like Together better than Weapons, and that is not the case. So my next quick pick is Weapons. What a great fucking movie. Another movie with a lot of laughs. And another warning, if there is anyone who has not watched this movie, please do not listen to this right now. I'm about to spoil Weapons. Weapons was very layered, but it was very nice because you could be getting the movie and there's this little girl, you don't know who the fuck it is, And she's talking about the night that the kids just ran out of their doors. And you see all these kids running away. And then all of a sudden, this teacher comes in and all her fucking kids are missing but one, right? And you're going through the process of, I guess, society as a whole, because people start, grabbing their pitchforks and they want to get this teacher because they think that this teacher somehow murdered all these children. And you're like, what is happening? And what I also like about the story is they go into detail with every single person's story and then merges it in the end. Because you have Aunt Gladdy, of course. So Aunt Gladdy is the main person in this whole story, but you don't know who she is until near the end. Right now, you're following the substitute teacher, Justine, who is literally alcoholic, and has a messy life. And now these fucking kids are missing. This poor lady's getting a lynch mob on her. So she's just trying to be like, I miss the kids too. And I want to know where the kids are. And the parents are like, fuck you, you witch. And they're trying to they spray paint and vandalize her car. I mean, it's fucked. So you're like, what the hell? And now she's not really giving a fuck about what happened to the kids, to be fair. She just wants to be safe at this point in time. But then you switch over to Archer, who's one of the parents that lost his kid. And he keeps dreaming about him. He's trying to figure out what happened to these children. And in the beginning of the story, they show that a lot of the Ring cameras showed the kids running. Well, he's in construction. So, of course, in his mindset, he grabs blueprints of the town and he's trying to figure out where these kids are running to. So he's he goes into one house and it's Jason Long, right? You're like, that's weird, because he had a very short part in this movie. It was, I want to say 5 seconds. It was so short. He was like, hey, what's up? Yeah, I'll show you my camera. And shows the guy the camera. And he goes on this, Archer goes on this, team up with Justine to try to figure out what's going on with the kids. Because he is the one who wrote Witch on her truck. But at some point in this story, he goes to the gas station. He sees Justine and the principal, Marcus, who people believe, because they think that Barbarian and Weapons is merged together. And basically, they believe that Marcus, the principal, is the same Marcus that texted Tess from Barbarian. And that Tess was the one that was leaving for a new job. And that is now Justine's job. I mean, if that is true, I'd like to really see how that is even going to merge together. You know what I mean? It's very weird. Or maybe Gladdy is the, just wreaking havoc throughout all of these stories. And she's the purpose why that weird monster trying to breastfeed everyone is alive. You know what I mean? I don't know. But Marcus, the principal, ends up meeting with this Aunt Gladdy, who is the aunt of the only kid that is still there. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? And apparently Aunt Gladdy is a witch and she possessed this kid's fucking parents. They're incoherent and they only follow her demands. And this kid's job is to feed his parents chicken noodle soup, because that's the only thing he could cook, I guess, to keep them alive. While Aunt Gladdy is just trying to figure out how to live. Because you can see she gets sickly throughout the movie. But Aunt Gladdy looks like a wreck. She's got lipstick all over her face. Her makeup is a hot mess. She actually ends up in Archer's dream, and that's one of the funny parts, is where she's just sitting there waving at him in the middle of the forest, and he wakes up and goes, what the fuck? That's anyone's reaction to this, right? And even when she's sitting at the table, she's threatening the kid, and she's like, listen, if you go around and tell anybody that this is happening, and, I'm basically mummifying your parents, you can't tell anyone or I'm going to make them do this. And she cracks the stick in front of the kid, and the parents just start stabbing their faces with forks. Like, I was like, what the fuck is happening? So then she stops it. She puts it in water. So now the kid already knows how this shit works. She came with this tree, and if she grabs a twig and she wraps their hair and shit around it, she can make them do whatever she wants when she snaps the twig. To stop it, she has to dilute it in water or whatever the fuck you have. So within all these stories, you also have Paul, who is a cop, who used to date Justine, but then ended up banging Justine again because, you know, nothing says sexy like a depressed alcoholic teacher. So he ends up banging her. And then he is also looking for the kids. I'm like, there's just so much going on. Like, it is almost impossible to do a quick pick for it. So we might revisit this to speak. I mean, I'm sure we're going to have an episode where we could speak further into this. But I mean, like, the cop, he ends up going to the kid's house because the teacher now is stalking the only living kid. And she doesn't know that his parents are dead. But as you can see, the lawn is kind of outgrown. You can see a lot of like newspapers all over the place. And the cop guy is like, well, I'm going to fucking, you know, fuck this. He goes and he has an interaction with this like drugged out guy. Like, there's about, I want to say, like 7 different stories going on at the same time. So the drugged out guy actually ended up breaking into the Gladys house with the parents and finding out something fucking weird is happening. And he goes into the basement, sees the kids, and he's just like, what the fuck? And the kids just turn and he runs away. He says nothing until he finds out that there is, of course, money involved if you turn them in. So he goes to the cop, you know, Paul, but he can't. He was warned by Paul not to see him again because Paul loses his shit and ends up punching him because he fucking ends up getting stabbed by the guy's heroin needle. And he's like, don't you ever fucking see me again. I'm going to let you go. You know, we're even now. We're even. So he sees the guy and he's chasing after him. And he finds out the guy found the children. And he's like skeptical, of course, because the guy's a druggie. So he goes to the kid Alex's house and he gets kidnapped. And you're like, what the fuck happened? The cop is gone. So now you had the cop gone. The drugged out dude is still in the car and he gets grabbed. And during all of this, like, the teacher was stalking the kid. And there's a weird part where the mom's just like, while the teacher's sleeping, cuts off an article of her hair. And then the principal, Marcus, ends up trying to fucking kill her at a gas station. And that's how Archer and Justine get together. Like, it is so much, but you're like intrigued the whole fucking time. This movie was so good, and it was like the storyline was perfect. I like that people are believing that it's merged with Barbarian, and there's characters that are similar to that. The ending is fucking hilarious. Basically, all shit cuts loose, right? Everyone is now fucking zombies because of Aunt Gladdy. And you have, you know, Archer and Justine finding the house, seeing all of them. And of course, Gladdy tries to kill them with all her zombie parents. And the kid ends up in the end doing exactly what he saw Aunt Gladdy did. And he ended up cracking the stick to control all the children to get Aunt Gladys. So the whole ending, as I want to say, is straight up 2 minutes of these kids just like running through houses, and you see her like running like, ah! And they're running through lawns. One dude's mowing a lawn, and he's like, "What the fuck is happening?" And Aunt Gladys running, and then you see all these children, and then the end, they just fucking tear her apart. And then they stop because then he dilutes the twig, right? All the parents grab the kids and they explain that some of the kids end up talking, some of the kids don't end up talking. They still haven't spoken yet. And people are saying that the girl in the movie that is kind of like the narrator is one of the kids that ended up talking, and that they don't talk about it anymore. And that's why you don't really hear about this incident. People are also saying that now that Alex, the kid, is the new witch. Because if Gladdy is gone and he has the tree and then he did the ceremony, he's now like the new witch, because that's why these kids are, I don't know, stuck in this thing. I don't know if there's a way out or if they're going to have to kill the whole tree. Or if they kill the whole tree, all these kids are fucked. But there is a possibility of, leaving at some point. This comatose thing that everyone is in. But like, the ending was perfect, I want to say. All the characters were super fun and interesting. You laughed. I got my body horror. And as for me, I loved it. I would definitely give this 5 stabbies. It was my favorite. And for this quick pick, these two, I am just in shock that I picked it this way. Because honestly, I was really looking forward to Together. And I'm super mad that it was so shitty. I don't think there's like another one attached to this either. So you're just kind of left with like, oh, cool. They're just going to live together as this ugly guy. At least with weapons, you get a backstory. You want more. And you're kind of okay being left with what else happens, because you know that there's going to be more and that people are making up conspiracy theories, which makes it more interesting. With Together, there's none of that. It was dookie. It was bad. Honestly, giving it 2 was me being nice. I honestly would have really given it less than that, but here we are. But that for now, we're gonna start doing quick picks. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do I might do quick picks live on TikTok and not on YouTube. I'm not quite sure. We're just developing this as just a little side thing because there's so many horror movies coming out this year, next year, last year, because the world is burning, so everyone's watching horror movies. So I wanted to make sure that we don't miss those and then we get to the big ones. But please stay tuned. In a few moments at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are going to have Milwaukee Horror Con in the house, and we're going to be talking about Milwaukee Horror Con. I'll be vending. We're going to tell you guys what is involved. So if you don't have tickets, you guys could buy tickets. And for now, I'm going to have a little bit of break before we start that. I will see you guys later, and I hope you stay stabby.